Hey everybody, Tom, Wes, and Sam here at E3 on the last day to take a look at some of our highs and lows, some of the best and worst stuff we saw this show. Sam, what was some of your favorite stuff?
Titanfall 2, that was really cool. EA revealed that on Sunday, and
you get to play a good bit, right?
Yeah, it's cool. I played four games of that and used the grappling hook a lot and experimented with the new classes, and it feels very familiar. It's a lot like the first Titanfall, they've added some kind of like MOBA style character identities to the mechs this time, the Titans, and that was really good fun.
Interesting.
I've heard pretty much universal praise of that from everyone on our team that I've talked to. It seemed like Tom Sr. also was a huge fan of the game. And
yeah, it was cool. The key thing is, like, everyone I talked to about Titanfall, the first game, they stopped playing it after about 12 to 20 hours. You know, that doesn't apply to everyone, but anecdotally, that's how it feels like the Titanfall experience was.
Yeah.
And so the key thing is overcoming that.
I'm curious if this one manages to have staying power longer, you know, get people in there for a few months at a time instead.
Well, they've rehired Todd Alderman, who created the leveling up system in Call of Duty 4 at Respawn. So they've got a guy building that stuff, and they haven't revealed what it is yet, but I think that'll be the key to keeping people around this time.
So they have a new addiction designer on the team this time around. Okay.
Basically.
Sam, I know you played like 20 games this show. You've played a lot more than I have. So give me some like elevator pitches on other ones, good and bad.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I played Resident Evil 7. It is VR enabled this time, as I'm sure you guys are aware. Had quite a big splashy reveal at the Sony conference. And I didn't think it was that scary. It was cool though. I played it with PlayStation VR because that's what they had at the booth this year. And you walk around a house, a haunted house, and then it's not really haunted, but there's a thing there, and there's a lot of bumping going on, and I realized
really
I made
doesn't
this sound
really
sexual, but it's not. And so that was kind of cool, but I didn't find it that scary, no. And then I also played Agents of Mayhem, which is basically the new Saints Row. It's Saints Row in every sense except the fact that you play as 3 different main characters and you can switch between them at any time, and you pick a combination of 3 out of like 12. And it's gone for a much more colorful art style this time. And it was great fun, like it really surprised me. And like Saints Row, you can get in all the vehicles and go around, and it's set in Seoul this time. And so it's a really kind of a real different kind of setting. And and I also played Telltale's, oh no, I didn't play actually, I saw Telltale's Batman game.
And you weren't super impressed with this one, right?
No, I wasn't. I'm a massive Batman nerd, much to my shame and the shame of my family. It's very formulaic. Like, if you know what Telltale games are like by now, like, it didn't impress me that much, and they're going for a kind of Bruce Wayne 50% of the game and Batman 50% of the game, and I don't think Bruce Wayne's that interesting.
That's the wrong balance right there.
Yeah.
Too much Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Rocksteady had the right proportion, which is you play about 10 seconds of Bruce Wayne at the start of Arkham City, then never again.
But no, it's just all Batman.
Yeah, and the idea is that both the Batman and Bruce Wayne parts feed into each other, and you know that's where the kind of moral stuff comes in. But really didn't grab me. Like, I didn't feel compelled to see what happens next. And apart from that, what have you guys been playing before I go into more elevator pitches? Because Wes, you've been playing. You saw Gwent today, right?
I can go for a few things. Yeah, I'll save Gwent. Save the best for last.
Okay.
Gwent. I played a game called Shyness, which was an interesting indie third-person like action RPG developed by a French developer. It's their first game that they've been working on for 5 years, I believe. And it feels a bit amateurish. It's a little rough around the edges, but it feels like it has a really good heart too. They took a lot of inspiration from Skies of Arcadia, which this guy loves.
You say that, and I'm instantly sold on that.
Games
game.
like Zelda and Suikoden, and they tried to bridge kind of classic RPG stuff with fighting games. So you'll go into combat and you have these combo-based attacks where you'll basically do fighting game moves in combat arena with enemies, and then it layers some RPG stuff on top of that. So I only got to play about 20 minutes of that, but it seemed really promising, and it kind of brought me back to an era where developers were doing these games where they were making up their own animal races in the game and their own weird languages and magic stuff. It was just kind of charming and fun.
Should I play Shyness, or should I play the Skies of Arcadia ROM that I may or may not have on my PC legally or illegally?
Skies of Arcadia is a good game. I don't know how well it's aged, but I enjoyed it a lot 12 years ago, something like that.
Okay, so what else have you played?
What else did I play? I played the demo for Bloodstained Ritual of the Night at Microsoft's booth, which is the next game from Iga, who created Symphony of the Night and a bunch of basically every Castlevania game after that. There's not much to it right now. It's identifiably a Castlevania style game with it has the map, and you go around and you collect some power-ups, but the demo was just very bare bones. The enemies were kind of boring. There wasn't much in the way of combat other than hit button to strike thing in front of you, and it was very simple. But that game's also only been in development for maybe 6-8 months, something like that.
Can you get any sense of if it's going to kind of go the Mighty Number 9 sort of route where everyone got, because it was caught up in that same sort of hype of old game developer making a spiritual successor to their game, and then Mighty Number 9 is sort of...
Isn't that the entire history of crowdfunding games, pretty much?
To some extent. I mean, there have obviously been winners like Pillars of Eternity. Even though this is from some of the same developers as Mighty Number 9, it's more like a publishing studio, I think.
Concept,
Yeah. I think it's going to be a much better game, but I think it's going to be very faithful to that formula, and it's not going to introduce much better feeling combat or animations or something. So if you want more of Symphony of the Night, you're going to like it. If you want it to be really like evolving on top of that, maybe end up being kind of a bit stale. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's still really early, so we'll have to see more about that.
How about you, Tom?
Why don't you give us some games?
One of the games I got excited for that I got to play was Abduction, which is the new game that's coming out in late July, made by Cyan Worlds.
Really soon, actually.
Yeah, very, very soon. About a month left. They did a Kickstarter too, and I was really excited about it. I got to meet Rand Miller, the creator of Myst, which was a huge geek out moment for me because I was a huge fan of Myst and Riven in Exile.
Did you beat Riven?
I don't think I beat Riven.
Okay.
But I played a lot of Riven.
Because I would have way more, and a degree of respect for you that I can't fit into my brain if you could beat Riven without having to look anything up, because that game is incredibly hard.
Yeah, Riven, he was actually talking a little bit about that, but Abduction, it just was really good. It felt like a very modern version of a Myst game, built on the Unreal 4 engine. It's really, really pretty. It's got FMV characters in there still, which is like...
Wait, it has FMV in it?
Yeah,
Is it like low resolution FMV, like 640p resolution?
No, not quite. But they actually, he told me that they filmed the FMV scenes with 3D cameras, with stereo cameras, because the game is also built for VR, and it works. I got to play it with the Oculus Rift, and it works amazingly in VR, because if you think about it, the original Myst had that, you would just click and move to a new screen, and then you kind of look around that screen for puzzle things.
Hypercard, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And they've built it so that the default way to play the game in VR is that. And it works great because then you don't have any motion sickness. You just hop to the next point. You can look like really carefully around at everything, and then you hop to the next point. And that worked really well. And they said that the FMV stuff they filmed in stereo, so all of the FMV is in 3D. It's 3D models if you're watching it in VR.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they've got a lot of little details out like that just made me really excited to jump back into that game. I was also really excited by a game called Loot Rascals, which I think is actually probably my game of the show, honestly. Like, it was really just like, it's this little roguelike hidden in the Sony booth, even though it's coming to Steam at the same time. And it's just a lot of fun. It's like a turn-based roguelike. The art style is like this weird combination of like Adult Swim cartoons and like Katamari Damacy, and it's got this very like almost Toe Jam and Earl sort of top-down like world you explore. I was super jazzed on Loot Rascals. I really, really liked it.
Cool. On the Game of the Show subject, is there anything else you want to call out from the PC Gaming Show that was really cool?
Yeah, actually, yeah. We didn't get to see much of this, but I was really excited about...
we were a little busy.
Yeah, exactly. But Oxygen Not Included got a trailer at the PC Gaming Show, and I mean, they only showed, 45 seconds of
That's
the
from
game.
Clay, right?
Clay's
Clay's
Clay from the studio of Don't Starve, and it was just like... It just got me really excited for whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but I'm just excited to play it. I guess it's like a space sim game, like space colony game, but that's coming, they said, late 2016, early 2017, so I'm excited to try more of that.
That's cool. We also had the first footage of Dawn of War 3 out there as well.
Which looks like Warhammer.
It does look like Warhammer. It's the most Warhammer thing I've ever seen. There's many lasers, there's people shouting, and big robots.
I love people shouting.
And it looks amazing. Like, it's the latest game from Relic. It's got the scale of the first one with some of the detailed kind of like character stuff of the second one, the squad-based stuff. So that's looking amazing.
Cool.
So, Sam, what was your game of the show?
Oh, well, it was probably either Titanfall 2 or I've seen 2 other cool things as well. So at 505's booth, I saw Abzu, which is from one of the art director of Journey, featuring music by Austin Wintory and like Journey, and Journey, the PS3 game. And this is an underwater set game. You're basically diving, and there's sea life, and it's very Journey-esque. You're moving through environments, and there's a lot of environmental storytelling, and it's a really cool kind of like I guess like a exploration-based, interesting scene-setting game, and I think people are going to love it. If people love Journey and Flower and those sorts of games, it's really going to go down well. And they announced the release date for that is August 2nd as well, so I really can't wait to give that a try.
Okay, well, my game of the show probably is Gwent, even though I only got to play about 15 minutes of it, but I played many, many hours of Gwent in The Witcher 3. Like, I'd spent entire days laying in bed, boot up The Witcher 3, and then just play Gwent for like 6 hours straight. So I'm really impressed with what they did with this one. They've only been working on it for about 10 months, which I guess is a long time for a card game, but they're kind of retooling it for multiplayer. They redesigned all the art and stuff. It looks really nice. But the big thing is they're going to deliver single-player campaigns with it down the road as well. And those campaigns are fully voice-acted. They actually have a world map that you're walking around in kind of this 2D adventure gamey type thing.
Wow.
There are decisions that you make, just like in The Witcher 3, whether you're going to save somebody's life or let them die, and that'll affect what cards you get. There's like animated kind of comic book style cutscenes. It's just really, really pretty. And they have like the main writer and quest designer from Witcher 3 working on it. So it's basically a Witcher just story expansion with an addictive card game stuck into the middle of it. So
Sounds amazing.
Leave it to CD Projekt Red to go way
above and
overboard
beyond, yeah.
with Gwent. Well,
So that was E3.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of cool stuff, a couple misses in there, but I think it's been a pretty great show for PC games, honestly. It's been a very exciting one. And stay tuned at PCGamer.com for more from E3.